Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is our October 21st meeting of the Waterfront Cultural Waterfront Committee and Parks. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Everyone who's there, and I am remote, and as usual, we will have Andrew Zelter actually doing the emceeing of the meeting, and he will introduce the guests. And I also just would thank Onage for everything she does for our committee. And with that, I'll throw it over to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Paul. Good evening, everyone. As Paul said, welcome to the October meeting of our WPC and the Waterfront Parks and Culture Committee. We have 4 items on the agenda today. 3, I believe, are reports, some of which might include budget items that we're asked to consider. It's our last item. So why don't we kick it off with our first item, which is an update on Governor's Island. I believe in person we have Amani Isaac. And I think we have Sarah Kay online as well. Is that right?
Sarah is online.
Yep. Great. We'll turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Imani Isaac. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Outreach and Partnerships with the Trust for Governor's Island. And we're really excited to give you updates on our fall and winter programming, as well as tenant and development updates. So just to begin, Governor's Island continues to be a year-round public resource, open daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., continuing to offer daily service from our Manhattan Ferry location at the Battery Maritime Building located on 10 South Street, in addition to our service on South Brooklyn Route with NYC Ferry. Ferry tickets are $5 round trip, but as always, we have a bunch of subcategories that allow our tickets to be free, including weekends before 11 a.m. for kids 12 and under, residents of NYCHA, seniors, and IDNYC holders, etc. I believe when I last came to this community board, we previewed that we will be soon announcing a hybrid electric public ferry. We are excited to announce that it is finally online after our christening event in August. We are currently piloting 15-minute ferry service during peak hours for Harbor School students and staff, our island tenants, visitors, and ultimately staff. Hoping that you all join us on the island this fall and winter. I think that there are a bunch of things to look forward to, but also just reminding you all that we have about 120 acres of open space this winter, launched a winter scavenger hunt that is self-guided and you can find on our website, but I can also share the direct link after this meeting. And then we're excited to also bring back Winter Dog Days, where you'll be able to bring your furry friends on Governor's Island starting from November 1st to April 30th. And I can circulate flyers with this information as always. And then events to look out for. As always, Pumpkin Point will be returning this year, October 25th and 26th. We'll have live performances, trick-or-treating for kids, interactions around the fall holiday. And then next year, that should say 2026, my apologies. Next year in February, we'll also be welcoming the 5th annual ice sculpture show. And this year's theme is going to be centered around movement. I'm gonna go to the next slide. We have enjoyable public art all year round. A lot of these pieces you all have seen, but wanted to just call attention to our most recent group exhibition, Rest Play. It's a group show and it's on view until November 2nd. So we hope that you all can come to the island and really dive into the public art. As we wrap 2025, we also wanted to just give some previews to works that we're looking forward to. First, a long-term loan by Chikaya Booker, which is a world-renowned sculptor. A recited work, The Day Is Done, which is a instrumental call and response sound installation. And then finally, a new commission work by artist Anna Valdez, which you'll be able to see on our new ferry. And then just a little bit more information about the long-term loan. As I mentioned, this is a sculpture that is led by the artist Jakaya Booker. This will be a long-term loan on Governor's Island. This is an internationally renowned and widely collected American sculptor, and I believe the Trust and Governor's Island Arts is really excited to have this present on the island for our visitors. We are currently considering the grassy area near Castle Williams, which is in a historical district. And once it's on island, I'll be sure to invite you all. And then just wrapping up with updates on Governor's Island Arts, there are currently 2 open calls open. I believe that I've shared this in our community newsletter, which many of you are a part of, but just as a reminder, our annual open call for organizations and residents is currently live and closing November 3rd. This is an opportunity for cultural and arts organizations across the city to really present their work in the historical houses of Governor's Island. And in return, they're also offering free public programming for our visitors in the peak season. And then as well, there's an open call for the ice sculpture show. We're really calling out to artists and sculptors to work alongside Okamoto Studios on Saturday, February 7th, around this theme of movement. Those applications are also closing on November 3rd, and I'll be sure to share that information at the end of today. And then turning over to some development and tenant updates. The first is just the map that I like to preview every time that I come to just give an explanation of what we're going to talk through, but exciting to share some updates as it relates to QC NY Spa and their final phase of their renovations. Building 140, as you all know, this is going to be an opportunity for Governor's Island to have year-round cafe indoor eating space. Building 301, which is Buttermilk Labs, a workforce development construction project, the expansion of Harbor School, and then Nolan Park, Building 20, which is taking place in the Nolan Park Arts Campus. There's more details on further slides, which is why I can't kind of rush through it. But before we go through the development updates, wanting to share updates from our tenants, LMCC, or the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, currently has Works on Water, their 2025 triennial on view. This is a, I'm sorry?
Can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me redirect myself. This is a multi-sided exhibition, really playing on the interventions of what's happening in our urban waters, as well in response to what we're seeing with global climate change. And then they have open studios to come. Quick updates on the New York Climate Exchange. They're continuing to expand their public programming on Governor's Island and across the city. This year, they led 10 really rigorous events as it related to Climate Week on Governor's Island in partnership with a lot of our island tenants. They are also going to be attending the upcoming Landmarks Committee meeting in November, so please stay tuned for that. They have finalized their design development, and we're still expecting groundbreaking to take place in 2026. So going back into the weeds of those development updates on the map that we previously shared, as I mentioned, QC NY Spa is in their final phase of construction, and so they are currently renovating building 114. This is going to include an indoor spa and additional steam rooms and saunas. We're expecting this to complete at the end of next year. Building 140, which is the building directly off of our Swassons Ferry Landing to the left, will be about 10,000 square feet of restaurant and event space led by longtime island operators. These are the same operators of Taco Vista, which is our beloved Mexican outdoor fare. They will also continue to operate the seasonal Taco Vista. As some of you all know, if you came to the island this summer, Taco Vista actually relocated to the previous Gitano site. And it's been really great to see them continuing to activate that location. We expect that they'll be able to break ground for building 140 in fall of this year, with completion in late 2026. Building 301, which is a building, I want to say maybe to the left of Yankee Pier, will be Buttermilk Labs. This is a 23,000 square foot multi-tenant office, as well as a co-working space. This will be delivered by North River Company. Phase 1 is currently underway with roof replacement, and we're expecting that this complete project will be able to open to the public in 2027. exciting news about Harbor School expansion. I think that we're really excited to report that construction is moving steadily. We're seeing adaptive reuse at building 555 for additional classroom space with expected opening in 26th of September. And then new build in the Western Development Zone for the laboratories and then the beloved swimming pool that I think we're all excited about here, expected to open in September of 2027. And just wanting to call out that this is the first ground up construction. Oh, sorry, I lost my slide now. Now we're back to Nolan Park. It's okay. Building 20 is the first building that has been renovated in the Nolan Park Arts Campus. There are currently leases in place with Billion Oyster Project and NYU Gallatin. Construction is essentially complete. We've received the TCO approval, and so now we're just awaiting for the tenant move-in process. And with learning from Building 20, we are now moving on to Building 19. LPC approval has already been received for this project, and bids are currently under review. And that wraps up my presentation. If there are any questions.
Great, thank you very much. Let's start in the room. Any questions from anyone in the room? Let me get the committee first and then.
Well done.
Thank you.
So I have a couple of quick questions. So the launch of the electric ferry, that was one ferry?
Correct.
What is the plan in terms of additional, are there plans for any additional ferries to be added to the fleet or not?
I'm going to pass this question over to Sarah, if that's okay.
Okay, Sarah, I don't know if you heard the question. I was asking if there are plans to add additional electric ferries to the fleet?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Sarah Krautheim. I'm the Chief of Staff at the Trust for Governor's Island. I think I know most of you on the committee. Currently, we do not have any funded ferry plans, but yes, our full vision for the island is to eventually expand the ferry fleet. As I think most folks know, we've been primarily utilizing a beloved ferry boat called the Samuel Corson, which we inherited from the U.S. Coast Guard. The new hybrid electric ferry, the Harbor Charger, is intended to replace that vessel. It's truly just nearing the end of its useful life. We do plan to have some type of celebration for that boat because so many people who come to the island love it. We also have a very strong network of former Coast Guard residents that took that boat for many, many decades. So the Harbor Charger is intended to replace that. And then I think most folks know that in 2019, we delivered another ferry vessel named the Governor's One, which is a 400 passenger boat. We primarily operate that boat in the evenings when we're open, but our vision is to, in what we're piloting right now, is running both the Harbor Charger, the new boat, with the Governor's One, the 400 passenger boat. We're doing that now, as Imani mentioned, with this pilot for every 15-minute service. And eventually we will be making an announcement about this soon, but hope to basically operate those two boats simultaneously to allow folks to really not have to look at the ferry schedule, be able to come to the island with 15-minute increments, which I think is pretty comparable to a lot of subway lines in Lower Manhattan. But hopefully with future funding, we'll be able to further expand the fleet and expand ferry access.
Got it. Thank you. Second question, and I don't know to what extent you can share this information, but what is the term of the lease for the spot?
It is a long-term lease. I believe it's a 49-year lease, ground lease.
Got it.
But let me, I will fact check that and get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you. And then I don't know if this is a short answer or not. If it's not, I'm happy to take it offline, but I'm curious how you curate your art installations. Do you put out notices seeking expressions of interest from artists, or how does Governor's Island and these artists connect?
Great question. So it's really both. Imani, I'll pass it over to you too, but just real quickly, I want to mention that We have had curator on staff on Governor's Island since 2017. The previous curator was Meredith Johnson. She came from Creative Time. I think I see Creative Time on the agenda tonight. And she left the organization a couple of years ago, and we recently hired Lauren Haynes, who is a very well-regarded curator of contemporary American art. She came most recently from the Queens Museum, also worked at the Studio Museum in Harlem. She started the public art program at Crystal Bridges in Bentonville, Arkansas. So lots of experience. Her main focus is to lead our arts and culture program and curate public art within the park. So most of the public sculptures you see on Governor's Island are either part of our collection. We have a few pieces of permanent artwork. We have long-term loans. The Chakaya Booker piece is a long-term loan. And then we are sort of doing an annual program of curated art. So what Imani presented tonight is really a preview of what's to come over the next few months. We also have a big plan for 2026 for a number of projects that will come back to this committee and preview for you at our next meeting. But it might be nice to have Lauren attend the next meeting just so the committee can get to know her well. And then in addition to that, we do open calls for a number of opportunities on the island. I think the most visible one to this committee would be our Organizations in Residence program, which invites arts organizations to occupy the historic houses in Nolan Park. Those individual organizations often do open calls for either programming or artists in residence. We post those on our website. We have an opportunities for artists page on our website. And then the ice sculpture competition is a great example of another open call opportunity. And then we too have a rolling application on our website for other proposals. Sometimes we get great proposals for artistic programs. We had a great event on last Saturday that was led by an artist who has been in residence off and on for the last few years, who curated a lantern parade around the island, which was really lovely and whimsical and fun. But that's an example of something that came in through our open call process. Imani, I don't know if anything to add.
No, you explained it.
So thank you for that. And I think it would be great to have your colleague join us at one of our upcoming meetings.
Yeah, definitely. We also have a great arts and culture plan. You know, maybe what we can do is the next time we come for our quarterly updates, have her do a little deep dive on the plan and we can preview what's coming up next year.
That'd be great. Excellent. So I think we have a question online. Paul, do you have your hand up?
Yes. Couple of things. Does the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council get involved with artists on the island?
Absolutely.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah, they host an artist in residence program. They also present their own programming within their spaces. They've also presented their River to River Festival traditionally on the island. They did not this year, but Mo Yusuf, their new executive director, who's also been on the team for a while, him and our curator talk regularly, and we'll definitely be collaborating on more next year between our two arts teams.
And the electric ferry runs the normal route, picking passengers from Manhattan and Brooklyn, including other services?
Just the new Harbor Charger, the electric ferry, just runs between the Lower Manhattan, the Battery Maritime Building, and Governor's Island. It does not go to Brooklyn. It's frankly, it's a very unique boat. It's quite large. It is not able to dock in Brooklyn at the moment, but and it only serves Governor's Island.
And one last question was about the schedule for the Harbor School improvements. Do you know when that's scheduled to take place or be completed?
Yes, they are scheduled to be complete by next school year, next fall. So they're moving pretty quickly. Both, I think folks might remember, there's a new facility that will be home to the school, and then they're also expanding to the adjacent historic building, which will add more classroom space. So both of those projects are happening simultaneously on the island, and they should be complete by September 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have any other questions from the committee? If not, I believe we have one from the public. Going back, let's
Sit here so you can hear me better.
Sure.
Hi, Roger.
Hi, everyone. Roger Manning from MAGIC, the Metro Area Governors Island Coalition, a community group that's concerned with the general public use of the island. Just really briefly, because I'll give you the website information. We have a September update on our website, which is govislandcoalition.org, that you can get more details. But compliments on the Harbor School extension. MAGIC came up with that idea in 2021, put that there with the pool, which that's great. But there's a definite concern with the size of it. It's massive. You saw a brief image there, but you really need to see it. And it's kind of a wake-up call in that, or reality check. It's only 1/3 the height of what the zoning plans or the zoning allows on the island. It's 75 feet, if I understand that correctly. And just blocking out the western part of Liggett Terrace. Other buildings that would be allowed to be 3 times that high, right on top of where the currently the farm is right now. More in the report. And another concern is that glyphosate Roundup, as it's known more widely, has been sprayed in large areas in Governor's Island. It's banned in New York City parks. There's a lot to know about glyphosate, and you can read more in our report. It's all around Fort J, and it's in the hills. The trusts have been fighting a really tough battle against invasive species, weeds and things like that. We understand that, trying to use sheep and ground coverings, but we're very upset about the glyphosate. And there's no really warning to the public to keep off that area. And there should be. And the Row NYC farm, the relocation is being pushed on at least a third that's on top of the glyphosate. That's not a place where you want to have a farm. The ground's still brown. It's been sprayed since June, and it doesn't go away that quickly. In fact, in New York State, if you have a specified pesticide spray in your farm area, you can't claim to be organic for 3 years after that. So that just, and the runoff, it's down, the farm is right downhill from the spray. So anyway, thank you for being patient. I'll just leave you this thing, which will take you to the website, and you can read more. And thanks to the trust for your report.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. So we have another question in the room, Mark.
So you mentioned about they're using chemicals on the island.
Yeah.
I always ask questions about wildlife and migrating birds, and they had a beach there, which I know they're supposed to preserve. I don't know. It's going back like forever. Is there any effect on that you know of or have concerns about in regards to all those things?
Sorry, is that a question for the?
Well, he seemed to be knowledgeable. Maybe he can respond. Maybe they both can respond.
Why don't we go to the
Probably-
trust first?
Probably a more appropriate question for the trust. Thanks for your comments, Roger. There are areas on Governor's Island that are being treated for invasive species. I will have to get back to this committee on the exact things that the horticulture team is using. We are working to eradicate a very invasive species in the Fort J area, which is currently being restored. And then there's another major restoration project at Outlook Hill. I think I got some questions over the summer from this committee or members of the community board about Outlook Hill. We're doing some replanting in that area, basically because some of the plantings and the sort of experimental planting strategy that West State, our landscape architect, developed, some have thrived and some have not done well. So, the vision has always been to see what works, especially in the sort of harsh environment of the island, and what doesn't. Preserving and creating habitat for birds and other living things is a big priority for us. We certainly have gone above and beyond in that regard, both with our horticulture practices as well as partnerships with folks like NYC Bird Alliance and Forest for All Coalition. So it's something that's very much top of mind. Our horticulture team partners very closely with NYC Bird Alliance. The data shows that these species are thriving in comparison to before the park was built on the island. So it's something that we're continuously monitoring and very, very much committed to. So, happy to talk more about that in our next presentation as well. Just different plans for the park and, what our maintenance practices are.
Yeah, CV one's on record and resolutions about that sort of thing. What are you looking to eradicate? Because sometimes, something like that can have a side effect in other areas. So what's being eradicated?
Primarily, my understanding is mugwort and Phragmites, but let us get back to you with more detail on that. I'm not a horticulture expert.
If you can find out the side effects, any side effects or how it affects other things in the environment as well. There was a beach area that was sandy beach that's still in existence. That small area, I forget exactly.
Buttermilk Beach.
Yes,
It's still there?
it is there.
And I recall that there were rumblings about building there or putting some barriers or this and that. What's the status of that? Is anything going to happen there or just going to leave you be?
There are no plans to do anything to that area. There's the area that is being referred to is north of Yankee Pier on the Buttermilk Channel side of the island. There is a sandy beach during low tide. During high tide, it's not as visible. We do partner with the Harbor School and Billy and Oyster Project to access that beach. A lot of the students actually do water quality monitoring from that location. So there is a small gate that they access that side to. We do have visions for expanding opportunities for visitors to interact with the water, touch the water. I think most folks know we, for a long time, had a free kayaking program with the downtown boathouse. Unfortunately, our kayak dock fell into disrepair, but thanks to funding from Council Member Marte and Manhattan Borough President Levine, we actually do have city capital funding to look at that area around sort of north of Buttermilk Beach, Pier 101 and Pier 102, which is owned by National Park Service. And our vision is really to make that a waterfront recreation area. But we only got the funding last year. We will be starting planning for that, but definitely an exciting opportunity to create more waterfront recreation on the island and hopefully reintroduce the kayaking program.
Yeah, Claudia, if you can get that information, you said you get back to us on if it's possible, if you get any information before our next quarter meeting, you can email the office so we can just take a perusing of it.
That would be
I was
great.
just gonna add, that's on the magic visualization for the island that you'll see on our website if you find that, and that the New York City Waterfront Alliance suggested that as a water get down, which I think the trust is probably referencing that information.
The harbors.
Yeah, and I just want to say on the record, sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to say on the record,
The
Roger
harbor-
does not work with the Trust for Governor's Island, so his statements are not official.
I know.
But,
No, I understand.
yeah.
It's a good collaborative effort. You're talking about the harbor, the sailing school?
Do you know the pier right next to the Night Center on Governor's Island?
Yeah.
So that's Pier 101, and then Pier 102 is the pier that's right adjacent to it.
And the sailing school uses that, the one that has the school in the marina here?
So they were
At
using
South
that
Street,
pier.
like,
Oh, no, this is located on Governor's Island.
So I mean, are they using it though? Or is it
They are
just
not
different
as of now.
facilities?
I can answer that question. We were connected to those folks.
Right.
Conversation. It's something that our team is exploring the viability of. I think there's obviously a natural synergy there, but we, there's a lot of competing uses in that area, primarily with the Harbor School and Billy and Oyster Project, who use that pier quite extensively. So we are we do owe the sailing school folks an answer, but it is something that our team is looking into.
Is that the marina closing for renovation, for resiliency?
Yes.
And they're gonna lose the space. That's what I was thinking of. Maybe they can temporarily hang out with you guys. I know that's between you two, but I'm just putting it on the record.
Just to clarify, the previous reference to the harbor school, I believe, was in regard to the school that was on.
The school, right?
Not the sailing.
No, yeah, I was trying to make a distinction, and then the idea about that they're gonna lose their space, maybe, Open Island can help out. Perhaps.
Sorry to bring up a footnote, essentially, but why do you consider it necessary to eliminate Phragmites, which in my mind is synonymous with a beach?
It's a good question. Again, I'm not a horticulturalist, but the reason is that it does create a monoculture, and it basically, this is probably not the proper term, but suffocates other plants in the area. So it has been a huge problem in areas. A lot of the park spaces on the island are newly created, right? All of the beautiful flowers and trees and Hammock Grove that is creating all this amazing habitat. It's newly created, and we want to make sure that these native and native adaptive species that have been planted there are not taken over by one singular species. That's sort of the extent of my knowledge about this. Again, we're happy to share more information from our Hort team about why these species have to be eliminated, but that is our understanding.
Well, I would not know the technical terms either, but I do know what Phragmites.
Suffocating sounds a little dramatic, but you get my point.
Right. Okay, I think we have all the questions out. So Governor's Island team, thank you very much. We always appreciate these helpful updates, and we look forward to seeing you next quarter.
See you next quarter.
Thank you so much.
Have
Enjoy your
a
evening.
great Halloween on the island.
Thank you.
Please join us. Bye.
Okay, so I don't know if we have folks from Creative Time to address the second item. I don't believe they're in the room, and I don't see them online. Is that right? Okay. Okay, so let's jump to our third item.
Give a 30-second flip notes on why that's just years.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I think they're talking about
They wanted to share about their,
that installation.
You did great. Thank you.
Is there any timeline on this that needs to be addressed to the city?
We can reach out and ask.
Or-
Okay, so third topic, City Hall Park. We're receiving an update from Alessandra Galetti and team. April, great.
stand here at the table or?
Yes.
Or whatever, if you want to stand up here, whatever's easy. I don't know if you have slides.
I can just, I do have the slides that are,
Okay.
yeah. Hello, everybody. I am April Krishnan, and this is Alessandra Galetti. We're both founding board members of City Hall Park Conservancy. So thank you for inviting us here. We wanted to talk tonight about the priorities for the park, basically in sort of two categories. The first is which we're asked to speak to the district needs requests for City Hall Park and a kind of larger infrastructure and capital needs. And then secondly, we'll kind of go over some of our own conservancy goals over the next year or two. And those priorities, which would be a separate, funded in different ways. So we were here a year and a half ago. And I think we did show this slide or something similar at the time, but just to remind everybody, the City Hall Park Conservancy's goal is to increase engagement and appreciation of the park through beautification efforts, the creation of new recreation and rest spaces, and by sponsoring public programming that appeals to a wide demographic. And we saw a need for creating our conservancy, which is a 501c3. It was incorporated 4 years ago, three years ago. because, despite its 8-acre size, the space has sort of become overlooked and underutilized over the years. The physical spaces are difficult to navigate, not optimized for recreational and multiple uses, which has become more important over the past few years because of, vast demographic changes around the park and a lot more residents and community users. So we would like to, and we're working towards creating a comprehensive vision for addressing some of the challenges in and around the park. So you can go to the next slide. This is just sort of a brief, collaboration is key to what we're trying to accomplish. We think it's especially important in City Hall Park for obvious reasons. There's so many different agencies and stakeholders in this park, and it's, the true city commons. So we're very dedicated to working with everybody in a positive and productive manner. So these are just a few of the organizations that we work with. I would say, I just want to highlight the Horticulture Society of New York. We've deepened our relationship with them this year, and we do a lot of the design, and then we kind of get their help on the implementation side. So we have more plans with them in the future, and they've just been wonderful to work with. So I just wanted to highlight that. Okay.
Any invasive species?
Well, there
There
are
are
some. We don't.
Okay.
But they don't take over. Like,
Yeah.
Look at me when you say.
We're able to, the mugwort. Yeah, mugwort primarily, which we just weed. We don't use chemicals. Although, the parks people, I don't think they use chemicals either, but they do a lot of that heavy lifting. So the funding, the district needs topics, which we have checked in and spoken with Therese Flores from the Parks Department. I had a conversation with her today, and we had met with Tricia Shimamura 2 weeks ago, and we discussed these. It's sort of high level. We don't have a funding number for this, but the first would be the repair and replacement of the bluestone pathways, which just, I'm sure as you all are aware, just continue to degrade and are a real safety hazard in the park. They have been doing some piecemeal replacement of some of the very broken ones with concrete. I think the ultimate plan is to choose large format pavers of either concrete or a different material to replace all of the pathways, probably starting in the southern section from the fountain south and then moving up to the north section. The second would be the conversion of the gas fountain lights to LED, which I know your group did a resolution for, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. Nothing happened since then. It's really very overdue. There's a lighting issue in the park in general, and I think that the conversion of these lights that are really in the heart and the center of the park will just do so much to help with safety and security in navigating and walking through the park. So I think the time is now to do that. And I know it's, a priority for the city as well to get those energy savings. So those are our two kind of requests that were developed along with the Parks Department for the district needs. Then moving on to and I can just, this is sort of high level, what we're working on internally, our priority funding areas we really have 4 at the moment. So it's the Broadway lawn, which is the northwest corner at Broadway and Chambers Street. And we had done several rounds of reseeding of that lawn, which was destroyed by dogs mostly during COVID. So the lawn is coming back. We also have a temporary fence. The idea is that the temporary fence will move around to different areas of the park as needed. It's not a permanent fence. But we want to maintain, continue and maintain that as a lawn area, as a mixed use area. We would like to create meeting and work areas for volunteer gardening and add more seating, Adirondack chairs, which we currently have a kind of crowdsourcing fundraiser going on for right now. The Commons lawn is the northeast lawn right outside of the UPK Center in the Tweed Courthouse. that we already have a pollinator area there. This summer, it was a little neglected because there's a huge rat problem right by the Greeley statue. So we need to get that fixed and under control. And then the idea is to expand that pollinator area which has kind of raised beds right now, and expand it and really use it as a teaching garden for the UPK, but also for the larger community. Add some signage, add more plants, and have that be a real center for activity, and possibly add some more seating. The other priority is the Northwest Plaza, which I'm sure you all know is an issue. I think we see our role as really facilitating conversation and helping to move that forward amongst the Parks Department. The subway issue, there's a lot of different and very, very complex issues there. We did apply to the Fund for the City of New York for a community fellow who would study that area and in more detail and sort of help all of us try to chart a path forward. So
That's the 20,000 for.
that would basically be if we don't get the community fellow, we would then hire our own urban planner to look at that in more detail and create a report, which of course would be shared and presented with you all. So and the last one is the fountain area, planting the beautiful parterre, which is now in its third season of being designed and planted by us, and has really come into its own as a showpiece in the park. Mostly native plants, but also some beautiful annuals that we do the bulbs in the fall, and we have annual planting in the spring. So we just want to ensure that that is funded every year and expand that to the other side, the sides of the parterre, and then the quadrants around the fountain, so that there's a cohesive horticultural feel to that area of the park. Okay, so this is just a map showing just what I've spoken about. We are calling, that northwest side, the Broadway lawn, and then that's A, B is the Commons lawn, the northeast side. Okay, next slide. This is just a brief rendering that we did with those Adirondack chairs and continuing to improve the lawn area as a recreation area for the community. This is a little outdated, but this is just something we were thinking of sort of eventually clearing out some of that brush that is kind of a safety issue, because there are two lawns that are becoming more separated with underbrush. And there has been some issues with unhoused and other people using that. So we would like to continue. Yeah, you can, sure.
Yeah, so practically this lawn, it would be the community lawn where for the first time in many years, we see kids playing and people sitting. Somebody even brought a chair. We purchased some of these chairs and we see people sitting. So there is a need in the area for green. But it's not this whole rectangle. It's actually separated in the middle. The north part, nobody's going. It's like really isolated. So our idea, talking with Parks Department, is to do it like a pathway all around with mulch. It's not capital, it will be a mulch pathway. And so people can start going back and use the whole space. And also we would like to transplant some of the large shrubs and kind of impede the view from Warren Street. So that would be very useful for using the whole area, because now it's like a very limited area that just is below the Parks Department shed. And so the next slide show the elements for the common could be some round benches, mulch path, and mostly more planting to identify these areas.
The Northeast Plaza, I mean, I'm sure we're all aware of the issues there. Actually, Alessandra took some drone photos, which are interesting because, you know, it really does illustrate the trash, how they're emptying the used oil directly onto the bluestone, the just excessive usage of people selling the same exact things. So,
And some without a license.
And
Without
some with-
question them.
right.
And also there is so much
They don't
space.
all have their
Yeah.
signs up, so I asked him, he
Yeah.
looked at me like, a license?
Yeah.
This is a little bit the purpose of having a study done, so we can, you know, document who is licensed or not and why. And why is used mostly only that area, because it's very large, that's where. So it could be diluted. We don't know the solution, but the study is necessary to understand better.
And they're there 24/7, right?
Yes, into the night, into the late at night.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think like the key thing about the plaza is that, you know, we need to make sure that all voices are heard. You know, it's not about one voice or one idea. It's about taking the time to do it properly and to ensure that everybody is heard and that everybody's concerns are acknowledged and to think about what is going to be the best and the highest use for that space.
Do you have any plans at all?
I mean, we're in close contact with the Parks Department. You know, the Hort is also kind of part of those conversations, so we're hearing everything, but, you know, at the moment, we're not presenting our own vision.
It's a very highly trafficked area.
It's very high.
The Brooklyn Bridge, the foot of the Brooklyn Bridge, where all the cars are.
Yeah, there are some proposals, I think, from the friends that we are in contact with. But we are not proposing anything because the study need to be done first.
Yeah.
So why don't we continue working through and then we'll come back with questions. So I want to make sure we give you time.
Sure,
Okay?
yes.
That's okay.
And just the last one is this is the parterre that, you know, we speak of directly south of the fountain. It's still looking beautiful even in mid-October right now, so you could go take a look. And the sort of on those sort of grassy areas that don't have a lot of grass at the moment, but those are the two side areas that we would like to bring some of those plantings, you know, expand them to the side so that there's a sort of cohesive look. And we want to just ensure that that has annual funding through a few different avenues. And that's about it. I mean, we did the last slide is just about that's how it looked a few weeks ago with the beautiful public art fund art as well. And then the last slide is just about who we are. We have a new board member, Dawn Cameron, and this is our board at the moment, where we're looking to grow. We did just successfully, just yesterday, we found out we got a New York City Green Fund grant from Partnership for Parks. So that, and that is, thank you, that's for, it's basically an engagement booster and to help us grow our board and to grow, you know, our garden crew and a few different initiatives. So we'll be working towards that in the future. I think
Great.
that's about it.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Let's go around the room. Any questions?
So I can't remember the name of the other group, but there is another group and I would like to know what their relationship is at this point between the two groups.
Yeah.
The Friends of City Hall Park
Friends,
with
yeah.
Skip Bloomberg. We work with them. I mean, we just had a volunteer day 2 weeks ago. It was co-sponsored by the two of us, and it was based on tree stewardship. It's sponsored, you know, by the Trees for All in New York City, and we work together on that. We see ourselves as different because we're a 501c3. We can do fundraising. We can kind of bring people together in a different and unique way. But they have, you know, Skip has been working in the park for many years and brings a lot to the table, a lot of knowledge and institutional knowledge, which is very important as well. So we work together on select initiatives.
Are there critical differences between the two? Differences in goals, strategies, objectives?
Well, I mean, I think the critical difference is that we are a registered nonprofit. We are answerable to a board. We make, we have discussions and we make, move things forward in a collaborative way. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything. I mean, I think that we,
Are you trying to get them in trouble?
Get to the truth.
We really work
Facts.
closely. I personally go to most of Skip events. And, so we are really, and he comes to our ball planting. So we are very focused on planting, right? So, but the main difference is that the Conservancy can accept donations and then can accept also contributions. And instead, Skip is not, equipped for that because it's not a nonprofit organization.
right,
But the vision for the park is more or less the same: beautification, bring people in, open the park. For example, there is a need for a dog area. So both groups, we're talking about that. But our approach is always first doing a study and, see the need and how many people quantify.
right.
And instead, maybe Skip is more like by intuition that sometimes is good, but, we have more like, an approach of this.
And I do think that we do, Skip fully admits, he's not like a plant horticulture guy. So I think that we do have more of that in-house ability to, Alessandra Galetti is a landscape architect. So we can produce designs always in conjunction with the Parks Department, but we produce designs, we do plant selections, we're the ones interfacing with the hort on execution. So I think in the horticulture realm, we have more capability to kind of.
Any discussions of unifying forces?
Not at the moment.
So we have some questions online. Tammy?
Hey, Andrew, thanks so much. I wanted to ask about, we have put the bluestone in our budget before and we've put the lights in. And I think we actually have a resolution on the lights, by the way. Hope you like the background. Right. So my question really is about, I know you're very good about trying to group all the players in. There's a couple things that came to mind. One, according to the city, the park goes to the curb line. If the park goes to the curb line, then all of those food vendors are supposed to have a different type of permit because you're not allowed to actually vend in the park. I understand that they push them all the way off to the edge and they're not supposed to be past what would be considered a sidewalk edge. But has the Parks Department been willing to sit down and have a meeting with them, and I think it's SBS and the food cart vendor union?
So they do a lot of them have the veteran, license to have a food vending, which is allowed where they are. It is allowed in the park. From what I've heard, the vendors there have not been willing to talk to the what is the organization, the vending, the people that kind of are the alliance that oversee the vendors. Is that the SBS or that they have not?
It's actually DOHMH is where they apply through, if that helps at all.
The vendors they're able to produce valid permits is how I understand it. But they've also been very uncooperative with the Alliance for Vendors, who, you'd think that they would want to talk to them because they have their interests at heart, but they're kind of on their own as far as they're kind of siloed in their thinking, and they're not willing to talk to a lot of people. So it's an entrenched issue. The Parks Department has done a couple of interventions with clearing them out with their PEP force, and it hasn't taken and hasn't been successful, it'll be like a day or two and then they come back. So, yeah, the Parks Department is trying, but it's, for some reason, it's very entrenched. We don't have the answer to why that is.
Okay, thank you. I have two other questions. I apologize very
Yeah.
quickly. I will try and be succinct. There's been lots of conversations about having a dog park somewhere around City Hall Park due to the rise of the number of residents that now live around and the conversions of even more buildings into residential. There are conflicting conversations that have come before. So I'm wondering if you can give me the conservative perspective on some of the areas or zones and whether you feel that would be possible.
Sure. I mean, I think that we do feel that an area needs to happen. It's been a few years of issues with dogs using parts of the
Yeah.
park that they're not supposed to. So I think feel that there should be a designated area. The south part of the park, which we don't call the lawns because there is not grass there and they're very shady. It's difficult to grow grass in those areas, sort of on either side of the south gate. So we think that one of those areas might be best suited to having a dog-friendly area. I don't think that City Hall Park is the right place for a fully built-out, hard surface or whatever kind of synthetic surface dog park in that traditional, dog area that we envision. I think that it should be more of we think that it should be more of a designated area that is maintained by a dedicated organization, with our help. But we've been trying to identify dog owners in the neighborhood that are willing to run that portion of it and would take care of an area. So I think that's what we envision.
I think that's good news, and we have a board member who is interested in that, and we also have a board member who runs a volunteer group and startup that is over in Battery Park City. So maybe if we can get you all in a room, we can see if we can move that concept forward, because I agree. I think that it would potentially help other areas of the park if there's a designated spot, so to speak.
Great. Yeah, we're definitely open. You're definitely open to that.
Yeah, as of now, it is already used as a dog area. The south, especially the southwest lawn. Before it was also the lawn that is in front of 250 Broadway, but now it seems like it's more oriented in that direction. So that would be great to.
Yeah, we'd love to get in touch with anybody interested in helping us think that through.
Awesome. And then lastly, on the very south side of the park, right outside, it is just flagstone dangerous. I mean, I don't even know how else to put it. We walk home from there often to come around the south side of the park, and it's not very safe. Have you had any conversations on repair or anything that you can share with us? We can certainly put it in budget. I just wondered if you had any information on that.
On that area in particular? Not really. I mean, I know that they did did some major work this last year on that area where you're talking about where it's kind of sunken in, right outside the gates.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and so they had plumbers. I think it's a plumbing issue, like a hollow sidewalk issue. I think there's some structural issues beneath there, and we 100% agree with you. We don't have any more information.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much. The plantings have been beautiful. I mean, you guys have really done an amazing job taking care of the park and being good Parks Department partners. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Great. Paul, then we'll go to Joe and then in the room, David.
Okay, I'm going to be very quick. Thank you for all you do for the community and for City Hall Park, obviously. I also want to just jump ahead, not not to have a full discussion on budget items, but since you're raising budgetary items, does the committee feel that all these items, now obviously this goes for the Bluestone Pathways and the LED light conversion, those were on record already. But can we just maybe add some of these requests for fixing lawns and planting beds, etc., to our budget requests? Is the committee okay with that?
Well, just to clarify, those are, we're not requesting for the sort of 4 priority areas that I outlined in that third slide. Those are, we're not requesting, that to be added to this budget discussion. I'm not requesting that. That was just sort of as an overview for, we have other ideas and funding sources for those. So those were just more of an update for you all to give you an idea of what we are focused on. The 2 things, you know, are the.
So you don't necessarily want us to put it in for the upcoming year, right?
Exactly.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Joe? Joe Lerner? You're on mute.
Okay,
Yes.
Yep.
okay. Number one, I'm familiar a little bit with the veterans using, with vendors using veterans' identities to get those spaces. So you may want to look into that and see how it goes. Another thing is, what public outreach have you done in reference to your, let's say, electing a board of directors or meetings or whatever? What's your public outreach?
Well, that's a good idea. Well, first of all, thank you for, mentioning that about the veterans. I do agree with you that that needs to be delved into a little bit. The outreach, which is actually part of why we're, we applied for this, green fund, is to even expand our outreach, and have public meetings and, do a variety of things, have more signage. But what we've done so far is build, a pretty robust, mailing list. We have monthly or every other month newsletters, and we have about 600 people, 700 people are in our mailing list. We have Instagram, we have a robust website with our events calendar, and we do signage around our events in the park, primarily our annual Earth Day event in April, but other smaller events throughout the year as well. So we spent a lot of time, I would say, like building the infrastructure of our organization to have that website, to have the mailing list, and to have the things to get information out. We do need to scale it up. We fully realize that. We would love to have 10 people on our board rather than 6. So we're getting there.
So how did I miss getting on your list?
We'll add you.
No. Well, also, what about neighborhoods? Like I live at Southbridge Towers, and I'm sure people don't know what you're doing at what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean and I think that is very important because City Hall Park is the nexus of all of these different neighborhoods, right? It's Chinatown, it's Fidei, it's Tribeca, it's Civic Center. So I think that's what makes the park so interesting. And we're really committed to trying to get voices from all of those areas of the neighborhood, of the different neighborhoods. Yes, I think signage is going to be important. That has been, there is some contention about how much signage should be in City Hall Park from other parties. So that's something that we're negotiating and working on. But I think that will be something that's.
Could you explain that a little bit more? The contention.
Well, just that should there be sign, every other conservancy, every other friends group has bulletin boards, has signage, has vinyl information, has QR codes, and, you know, a link to the website. And we should too, and the park should too, so that some people feel that there should not be any signage in the park. So we're just kind of trying to navigate that. But we just got the grants that, you know, part of that is for signage, so that will happen.
That's true. I mean, we're park season, so we know about you guys, but for any random human walking through the park, they would not realize that there
Yeah.
is actually a conservancy group that works on beautifying the space.
We had
It's
some
not a
sandwich.
single sign.
Yeah, did have sandwich boards at one point,
Yeah.
which were disappeared. So, yeah.
We had some signage
Yeah.
or initiatives that we had, for example, when we got the tables and chairs on the south side, there were like an A-frame explaining with our QR code. But we would like to have a little bit more permanent signage at the entrance. It is like a nice bulletin board, but you know, we need to talk with parks, and we have not been approved to fix anything. So there are like a few signage that we could do as an A-frame for events. I mean, even for these chairs, that has been very successful because people were using those chairs and reading and taking
Yeah.
pictures. So maybe we should redo that, because it was, they lasted for so long, and they were from where, Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, or I forgot, they were
The
really
bistro chairs,
fancy bistro chairs, and they.
But agree with you that signage needs to improve.
So let me come back to the room. We have a question in the room, David, and then I'll come back to Tammy and Joe to wrap up.
Wait, me too.
And Rosa, okay, sorry.
Okay, quickly, the corner where you have that issue with the vendors, is that where you have access to the Brooklyn Bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a fine piece of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Pretzels there will sell for twice as much as they would on Church Street. I would suggest, one, it's prime real estate, and two, we don't know what they did to get it from the competition.
I don't understand what you're
In
saying.
other words, vendors would fight for those spots.
No, nobody was on there for the longest time. There were just two guys, and then when the vendors got removed off
From
the
the
bridge,
bridge.
that is when they came
Right.
out on. So, and now it's gotten worse and
Let me
worse.
tell you, there are ice cream trucks where the driver has a baseball bat,
Right.
because people do fight for these spaces.
They do. There has been violence within the vendors.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably one of the reasons they're so silent, is they don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, agreed, yeah.
I don't know how you break through that, but I think that's what you gotta break through.
Okay, let's come back. Tammy, then, I'm sorry, stay in the room, Rosa. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay, so you answered some of it. But let's see, when I look in this, the explanation says, well, the agency response related to the bluestone and the gas lights is agency supports but cannot accommodate resubmit request. So we should resubmit. Then it says, capital funding is needed for the reconstruction of the bluestone pathway and for the replacement of the gas lights. So really, we just need to keep hammering on the capital funding for the project to be able to have any of this bluestone repair
Yeah,
happen. And that's your biggest single safety issue, right?
It
As that might, I mean, strategically speaking, it might also help if this whole area is under repair. Those vendors are gonna have to relocate somewhere else during that period, and that may be an ability to get a restart on how you want to address the vending issue going forward.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I just want to keep us on track. I think the primary purpose of this was to reinforce the importance of having line items for the walkway and for lights, right? We do have this. I'd be surprised if this committee's not going to approve or support keeping it there. So I'd like to try and get through this with two more questions and then get to this, which is going to take us a bit of time. So Tammy?
I actually think I wanted to suggest that we add to budget something about signage, because the signage in City Hall Park, because it's historic, has to be approved permanent signage by both LPC and PDC, if I understand correctly. and anybody in the room can, probably correct me on that. But for permanent signage, why wouldn't we ask for wayfinding, permanent signage, and a public restroom? Those three things for the park. Because we know from days when they had corporate gardeners coming to work for them and help us beautify City Hall Park, there's actually no place for them to go to the bathroom. One Center Street was supposed to allow the public in, and they have started denying that opportunity. So I think those three things would really add value potentially if, obviously if the ladies agree with me, but I think that those would be based on what we're having in discussion, having wayfinding, historic signage board put someplace for information, and then a public restroom somewhere.
When you refer to signage, are you referring to signage regarding the park itself or signage regarding the conservancy?
Permanent signage in that park requires approval. So any and all signage. I think that, if the park has informational signage, that's lovely. But, if people want to reach out to volunteer for the conservancy, there should be a way that the park partner, which they are the official park partner, can have a sign somewhere, a bulletin board somewhere that people could know that this park is being taken care of by X. And if they want to volunteer, here's how they do that.
Okay. Got it. So we can discuss that when we get to the budget, the line items. Joe, hopefully last comment? No, I'm sorry. Didn't see your hand. My mistake.
Short and sweet. I think you should improve your outreach to the public that surrounds you. Thank you.
Got it. Sorry, go ahead, please.
How long have you guys been involved with this project?
Well, we both were part of the Friends group. I was part of the Friends group 6 years ago, doing, sort of during COVID, right before COVID, during COVID, volunteering to clean it up. I think Alessandra was part of the same, yes, about 5 or 6 years. And then we we broke away 4 years ago. We incorporated as a 501c3 3 years ago.
Okay, so I just asked that to preface what I'm going to say. It has nothing to do with you guys. It's just a comment, with full disclosure, I have a cat. I love animals, but I am totally against a dog run in City Hall Park. I think that it should be a beautiful park with chairs and whatever, but not to have a separate park for dog runs. I have mixed feelings about the upkeep because the Chamber Street side, they have, at night when I walk by there, I've seen people with their dogs running in that, and it's nice grass over there, but they stopped because they put this kind of mesh fence that you can't really see. It's not obstructive.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's a good idea. I wonder if they'll do that, any place else. But good luck.
Thank you. We appreciate this.
And maybe just one quick comment, coming back to the question that Richard asked. So as it relates to the two entities, you are the formal partner with Parks in this space?
Well, I mean, to clarify, we're in the process of developing a legal document, a memo of understanding with the Parks Department. So we don't have that signed at the moment.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I think we've wrapped that up. Thank you very much. Very helpful update. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great stuff, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent
you.
job.
Plantings and beautiful, I think the seating areas
More to come.
were excellent. I got lots of space.
We love to see all of you.
Thank you. Okay,
And-
so if we turn.
And Andrew, just to let everybody on the Parks Committee know, we're going to send all of the email addresses. As long as you opt in and tell Onej that yes, you're in, we'll send all of the email addresses from everybody on the committee over to them.
I was gonna actually talk to Nick after our meeting about
I
that.
wanna know.
exactly. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Okay. Sorry, someone say something online? Okay, so if we can turn our attention to the district needs for our committee. Subject to Tammy's confirmation or correction. My understanding is that what we're supposed to do is take this list, determine what we're going to keep, add, revise, whatever. And then once we have our items, we need to sort them by agency. And right now, there are 4 agencies that we have on this list: EDC, Parks, DOT, and DOHOM, whatever that one is. So we need to sort by agency, and within agency, we have to categorize capital items and expense items in our rank order. So let's say, for argument's sake, for DPR, we have 4 capital items and 3 expense items. We need to put them, the 4 capital items in rank order and the 3 expense items in rank order for DPR, and then we need to do the same for the other agencies. Tammy, is that correct? Yes, okay, we got 2 thumbs up.
The one caveat, Andrew, I would say is if, for example, in your thing, it says, agency does not support this at this time, that doesn't mean you take it off. It means you leave it on and keep pushing.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay,
Until
awesome.
it's actually been done. And then if the work's been done, then that means it should be removed, because I think that's true for a couple of these.
Correct, it's been done, and we'll take them off, right?
Yeah.
So, can we just start going through these
Yes.
item by item, and then we'll
Right.
categorize by agency, and then we'll try and rank them? Okay. So the first one, which has to do with, sorry, not the first one.
That's priority number 5.
So, yeah, rebuild the new market building for public use with community entities.
I think we should leave that as our top priority for this committee.
I think we should leave it, but I think we should move it down. And the reason why is because right now we all know that we do not have the funding for that project to move forward. And so we should prioritize projects that can get funding.
All right.
I disagree, and I'm going to speak up and say no, because it is, the new market site is part of the design plans in FIDI Seaport. And if we don't actually expand on what this is, they're looking to chop it in terms of size.
And wasn't it promised in the beginning, when they were talking about renovating that whole area? That was
Howard Hughes had it in their plan.
Everything's promised
Yeah.
in the beginning.
I don't know if we necessarily need to rank them right now as we go through. I think if we go
Do you
through,
want
let's
to keep it
decide what we
first and
want
then
to
rank?
keep. Yeah, and then
Okay.
rank, to see what we're left with.
Just another
Because
question
that's
on the
what
ranking.
see, so maybe it's-
Is the ranking meaningful regardless of agency, or is the ranking only meaningful within an agency?
Within the agencies, you're ranking within the agencies. So you have, let's say you have EDC and we have 5 for EDC that's for capital, then you need to.
1, 2, 3,
1 to
4,
5.
5.
So if we had 5 agencies, for example, we could have 5 ranked 1.
Yes.
Correct, you will.
So there's only one EDC
Capital.
capital,
Right.
in fact, and that's this one.
Unless we add something.
Right.
Okay, so we're keeping this as is. That is a capital item under EDC, which at the moment is our only capital item for EDC.
Actually, I have a question on that. Is it capital since it's currently funding for, like, FIDI Seaport Resiliency is only in the design phase, so would that be a capital
It would all be
thing?
capital, even
Or
the
would it
science
be-
capital.
Okay,
It is capital
Even the
because
science
there
part of
is,
capital, it's capital.
okay.
it also has money assigned to it that was part of the Seaport Coastal Resiliency to rebuild the pier below. So it's in many places, but the capital, yes, has to start it off.
Okay.
So I think we're done with the first item.
Keep going,
Second item-
yes.
Second item is related to Finn Square.
So if I'm correct, that's been either done or certainly funded.
The work
The
is
sidewalk,
done.
the sidewalk
Yeah.
was done.
Yeah,
The second part, which is study of potential expansion, that has not been done, and that I think we should keep, but it's not a capital. It would be an expense.
Okay, so what's been proposed, we take out the reference to the perimeter sidewalk,
Yes.
yes.
and we basically change this to request a study of potential expansion opportunity and change it to an expense category.
That's my recommendation.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Makes sense? Okay, let's go to number 3. So number 3 is related to a new public pool in CD1. So what is I thought it was planned to be cited in CD3.
It is cited in CB3.
Yeah.
Are we
That's
still
the
asking for one in
that's the
CD1, or are
designated
are we removing this?
I
Well-
would just say that this and the estuary, they specifically say are not eligible for funding in our budget requests. I think we should honor that. You know, it doesn't really make sense to put them down in this, in the budget request.
And why isn't this eligible, Paul?
What was that?
Why isn't this eligible?
Well, this is because they are doing it in CB3.
Oh.
Just for everybody to know, we are actually advocating for a pool on the site of what we call stage 3 land of Boston Park, which is closest to Alfred E. Smith houses, and it
So
would
that's
be an
different
above,
than this, right?
it's totally different. It would be an above ground pool. And it would be DOT land, not DPR.
So are we proposing to add that as a,
Well, we have an item for the
Sure,
park.
at
We
that.
should get
I
to
think-
that.
okay, so let's stick with this particular line item. Given that we understand, and I think this was plus pool.
It
Yeah.
was, yes.
If it's cited in CB3, it seems like we should pull this.
I agree with that.
Okay,
It says in there, Pleasant Pool will not be designed for CD1. A local public pool must be considered for the CD1 area.
I think we just pulled.
Yes.
okay, so the 4th item, comfort station and park office in the Battery.
Who's against bathrooms?
Did it? Isn't that underway
Thought
right
that
now?
was being addressed.
That's already
I think
being
we
done.
saw the plan
Yeah,
for it.
well, didn't we just discuss this a few months ago?
It's
Yes,
not,
it did.
it's not
It says
finished.
Tammy's gonna update.
It's not finished. It is budgeted. It is planned. The biggest issue that we had when they came and presented the designs are the fact that the bathrooms are actually only public for the children's playground. And then it's
Right.
privatized for the park's employees. It is not a public bathroom, which means people are like, for example, most of our committee, if you didn't have children and Richard walked into the kids' park because he was desperate to go use a bathroom, he'd get in trouble.
Probably
So-
So
true.
why don't we just add an improved signage to make clear that the bathrooms are open to the public?
No, you have
Well,
to
is
go.
this an issue for this, or is this an issue with the battery park, or the battery conservancy?
Yeah.
It's actually the Parks Department who made that decision. We asked about it at the Battery Conservancy board meeting, and they said it was a determination of the Parks Department.
But how will the park, I'm asking, I don't know, because I think
Sure.
of Corlear Hoops Park, for example, where there's a baseball field and there's a public restroom, anyone can go and walk into that public restroom. They have no way of,
I believe that this one may be adjoining and
this is
accessed from the playground area, which is why it's limited to
Correct.
families and children.
But
It's
how,
not
Oh.
accessible from the public sidewalk side.
You
So
have to be
that's-
in the battery playscape, which is supposed to be for
Yes.
children.
Yes, having said that, there is a public restroom that's open right now in the Battery on the north.
which is what they said.
Yeah.
So,
Which
I was just gonna ask.
I-
If there's
I-
one there, then
I think, do we really think people aren't going to walk through the playground to go use the bathroom? And
I
who's
mean,
gonna- who's gonna
honestly,
stop
it's
them?
not
I
that
think we
far.
suggested signage, like point to
Yeah.
the adult bathroom.
We
Yeah.
did, we did.
Yes. Let's-
I've said, I won't do it, given that Tammy's already forewarned the Parks Department. But, I
There is
think
a-
we should remove it.
Yeah.
There is,
I
the
agree.
children's bathroom, they're not gonna do another.
Yeah,
restroom.
I agree.
Okay, all right, so now we're on to page 3, the top item,
So this is out.
Yeah.
which is again, City Hall Park,
Yes,
so we're keeping this,
yes,
This is.
right?
This is what we just did. so-
yes.
Yeah.
If the regular
So, kind
current pathway material, right, bluestone, illumination, gaslight, yep.
Yep. And then what about the fountain?
And do you
So-
want, Tammy, do you want something about improved signage?
Yeah, I think that the city should pay for signage, locations within the park for additional signage.
Instead of the fountain, they didn't request anything for the fountain.
So Tammy, is this where you want to add your 3 items of wayfinding, signage, and public restroom?
Yes, sir.
And no lighting.
In addition to the pathway and the
We're
lights?
gonna rent
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will add that.
I vote in favor.
Do is put a turnstile at the.
What about the language regarding the fountain? Do we, I don't, what's the status of that fountain? Is it functioning? Is it still broken?
It says
Mm,
here, and we repair the fountain as needed.
They
That's
just
in the
did- they
explanation
just
section.
did a big it seems to
Yeah.
me like they just did a big overhaul and repairing.
Yes,
Okay, so we can remove the reference to the fountain?
and the increased illumination. It says here on the explanation, we work with DOT to get the lights repaired and we repair the fountain as needed. Capital funding is needed for the reconstruction of the Bluestone pathway and for the replacement of the gas light. So those are the 2 capital things that still remain.
What did they originally mean? Increase illumination.
So you're both talking at the same time.
I thought you were reading the explanation as they did repair the lights.
They did, there's a difference between the regular lights and the gas light. They want to turn the gas lights into LEDs.
correct,
So
which
that's different.
we supported that by resolution.
And it's in here.
Yes. Yes, so I think we just want to remove the increased illumination part
Okay.
and repair the fountain part.
Got it.
And then everything else remains, which is the Bluestone, the gas lights,
And then Tammy wants to add.
Yep.
and then add.
Signage.
Improved
I
signage.
disagree with you on the
Wayfinding,
dog
signage, and public.
No, it's like,
All
they're.
right, can we keep, let's keep going. So the next
Yes.
one, Pier 26 estuarium.
It says,
Do we have an ask from Hudson River Park for any funding needs regarding the estuarium?
I think they'd fall on the ground and thank us.
Tammy, well, it's on their board. Tammy, do you have an update?
I'm sorry, repeat.
So we're on the item about contribute funding to complete build out of Pier 26 estuarium.
Okay,
I
so
was
they're
asking-
still, yeah, they're still short. They're still short of funding. Andrew's on the board with me, so
Oh.
they still need funding. They are short. Battery Park City Authority has given them, oh my God, some seed money, but it's not enough yet. So they still need funding.
Okay,
How much funding are they short?
I don't remember from the last presentation they presented last month, I want to say, at Parks Department, right?
Yes.
It's
Well,
probably-
is that contribution gonna take away from what we could get?
to the extent there's a limited pot, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, everything
I mean,
choice.
honestly,
So we'll
I'm worried about the east side, not Pier 26.
Well, there's a lot on the east side, Pier 26.
There's a lot.
the east side, right?
No.
The park all day.
We've been fighting for the estuary for 25 years.
We've been supporting it for all these years.
So, no
We
changing
can make a
that.
determination if we want to add an item related to the east river, to the east side. Right?
I have a question though, why, it says agency does not support and cannot accommodate remove requests. Please
They say that
contact
for
the
everything.
agency directly and promptly for more
Fair
information.
enough.
Did we contact them and what was the information of why they do not support and cannot accommodate?
Because they probably feel that the board, their board contributes enough money.
We don't
No, it has
have-
nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that it's in state, but it's state and city, so.
So it's state land, so the city doesn't want to
It's-
put the funding.
It is.
So,
There's any
yes, the
reason-
state.
There's no legal reason why that I.
City is
Correct.
contributing to the-
That's
Correct.
They can
Correct.
contribute.
Correct.
Okay, so we're keeping that item and then
Yeah,
we'll
just
come
move it
back.
down the list if you want.
Now, is this a DPR? Is this a parks issue?
It's not, right?
The state.
Right, so it's not DPR.
Well,
So then that
Yeah.
would be the answer why they rejected it, because it's not in
And
their
that's
department.
why
You can
they
move it
turned
to
us
each-
down.
How about moving it to
Sorry, so which agency do we think we should list here?
EDC?
EDC, that's where I thought we were going.
that Tammy that said.
I think
Yes.
so. Okay.
That's
Next item, which is DOT. I think it's the only DOT item we have. Bowling Green Park. Enlarge and make this major tourist destination safer. Now that the city has decided to keep the charging bull statue there, we need to find a way to separate visitors from vehicular traffic. You can
Shouldn't
see
this
the
be the
response.
transportation committee?
Does not support.
Does this, do we know why they rejected this?
Yeah, they don't want to spend the money.
Okay, I mean, every time I go by there, the people, the tourists are like literally spilling out onto the street. It's an absolute hazard. And I think whatever way we can figure out to try to push this forward would be helpful.
Well, can you send it to?
Do we want to keep it? It's our only DOT item
Keep
on
it.
our list.
I say keep it.
Yes,
Are we okay keeping it?
transportation,
Yeah.
what they think.
If you think it's
Sure.
good, you can always move it up or down.
Yep,
Okay.
okay. We have the last page.
No. Four,
Nice try.
Myself, sorry.
4 out of 8.
This is another Bowling Green. Renovate the pathway of Bowling Green, which currently pools with water after heavy rains. I'm not familiar with this.
And
I am, it does flood. It's like not traversable when it's raining. It's because it's just not draining properly.
that part of
Oh,
the
Nish, can you
whole,
move the slides
So
up?
let's keep it.
Capital.
isn't that part of the whole resiliency?
No, it's not actually part of the resiliency.
So we're keeping that one?
But
It says
Yes.
agency supports but cannot accommodate. Funding is needed for this work, so they need a capital designation.
Is this parks?
Yes, because it's under Bowling Green, it's inside Bowling Green Park, like inside the park, not around the park.
Okay,
so is that
So-
far away from where they're doing the?
It's not, Tammy, do you, I don't believe that any of the resiliency work touches into Bowling Green Park, right?
It does not at all. Not at
Right.
all.
Doesn't
There's a pipe running here and there? Come on.
Does not, it does not cross the
Something
street.
is happening because it keeps getting flooded.
It's settling, maybe they haven't touched it in like 30 years. and
it's sort of
yeah,
like this.
it's well
It's,
settled.
it's an original park. That
It's
fence
the-
is, that fence is hundreds of years, so it's the
It's
kind
not-
of thing that they need to fix the cobbles and kind of look at all the stones and, yeah.
Green, I swear.
So can
Put a
they
bet on it.
we request that they update it so it doesn't need
It's-
it anymore?
It's also historic. so.
But Tammy,
Yes, sir.
just a quick side note, so they're repairing some of the cobblestones on Greenwich Street.
Okay,
And
what
doing
does that have to do with
workshop.
Bowling Green?
But you mentioned cobbles, so I just thought you let, real quick side note, that's why I said side note. So they're repairing it incorrectly again, like they did before, but even worse, there's more space
Mark,
between the cobbles
Mark,
than there was before. So
send me a photo, send me a note, and we'll reach out.
it's really bad, yeah.
So, sorry, where do we land on this? We're keeping this as
Keeping
is?
Bowling Green.
Okay.
Please, yes.
So now we're moving on to
Just
the
a
next
point of
one.
information, as I recall from yesterday, battery resiliency measures and Hudson River Park resiliency measures are going to like converge Bowling Green.
Right.
So
No.
there might.
No, David, they do not cross the street. They converge at the Bowling Green subway stop at the very end of the entrance to the park. They do not cross the street to the other side at all.
Right.
So they don't go into Bowling Green.
No, they don't go into Bowling Green.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next item is additional funding for native plantings at Peckslip Park.
And it says additional funding is not needed.
That's
Yeah,
because
they
it was
said eight.
done.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're taking
Great.
and
that
it
out.
looks good.
Okay, next. Provide required funding to repair all non-functioning water features in Delury Square, Elect Pond Park, and Albert Capsuto Park.
Why can't they get the Lori Park right? How many times have we tried?
So we're talking about water fountains, any other type of water
I think
related
Features,
infrastructure?
Yep.
I'm tilted. Water features and always.
So response was they support, but can't accommodate, resubmit, so we're gonna resubmit.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
determine the order. Next one. Contribute funding to the expansion of Duane Park as proposed by the Friends of Duane Park in order to be more consistent with its historic footprint.
Okay.
So didn't we get a presentation from them where there was somewhat of a, maybe dispute's too strong a word, but there wasn't entirely, there didn't seem to be clarity on exactly what the budget
Yeah,
needs
they
were.
wanted to move the path across the street.
There's a big dispute between parks, I think, or DOT, I'm not sure which, and the park.
DOT and parks.
This one's listed under DOT.
Then it's DOT. So DOT wants to do something that's a lot more expensive than what
And they required an additional point of egress, I think, or crossing
DOT,
somewhere.
yes.
Yeah. So given that, is the way this worded still relevant, or do we need to tweak it somehow?
I don't know that that was our position to
like to-
move that path.
I think I'm
I
kind of
thought the way we left it was they were going to go and have further discussion.
That's right.
And I just don't know what came of that further discussion.
Shall we just ask them?
Yeah, I think that's what we should do is ask them.
So,
you know what, Onesh can look up the resolution. We did pass a resolution on it. I'm not sure which way we supported the conversation, but there's a resolution that Onesh can look at and update.
okay.
Hey, Rosa. Hey, Carrie, you're on speaker. You're in the CB1 meeting. Quick question on your reso. Sorry.
Yeah,
Where-
okay.
Where,
I'm in a meeting, so quick.
oh, okay. Where did you guys end up? We're trying to understand if it's DOT, Department of Parks.
Reader this.
Okay.
The jurisdictional question it is a question, so DOT, the Transportation Committee also put it in its budget. So I'm asking Parks, I'd like Parks to keep it in and Transportation will also have it in, and I think I need a double,
So
I need all hands on deck, because there's a jurisdictional question whether or not
Yeah.
if they
Good wording.
green streets, greenery in the middle of a roadbed, or I can find the deed that shows that it's conveyed to the Parks Department back in 1797.
Okay, two quick questions. So the Parks Department our Waterfront Parks and Culture Committee requested be under DPR, not DOT. And then I'm gonna read you the text, and you tell us if this is the text you want, which is contribute funding to the expansion of Duane Park as proposed by the Friends of Duane Park in order to be more consistent with its historic footprint.
Perfect. Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
And
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Rosa.
You're welcome, bye.
And the only thing that we need to do for our due diligence is make sure that matches our therefore be it resolved.
It's still in the same.
Yes, so we just have to change it to DPR instead of DOT on our committees.
Okay, so on to page 5. Top item. City has reduced the number of DPR staff and parks enforcement PEP.
Yeah.
Parks not being properly maintained and rules not enforced. Hire additional staff to replace those eliminated.
And that goes to in all parks such as the Battery, any of the places and spaces along in front of Staten Island Ferry, which is
City
Peter
Hall
Minuit
Park.
Plaza. And yes, the park as Central City Hall Park and all the others.
So we have
I
two
think
of
we
these.
should leave it as is.
We have two of
Say
these.
it's
One is
broke.
just specifically Battery Conservancy or Battery Park, I guess, for the Conservancy. The other is for all parks. I don't see why we should
The Battery,
separate one out.
the Battery had a very specific ask, Richard, that it asked us for because they were finally approved to have, I believe, I want to say 4 people patrolling the park. And again, that's not near enough for what they need, but that's yet to come to fruition.
But are they a higher priority than every other park that we're asking for in the next line?
Ticket hawkers, food sellers, and tourists. I think, yeah, I think it's a priority that we do need
Alright.
to. Sorry,
Tammy, you're on the board, you're on that board, so
yeah,
you're
they
a little
just need
biased.
help. They've had employees chased in the park by homeless people. It's just not, it's not always a great day.
If one is meant to be specific to the Battery Park or Conservancy and the other more general, I don't think the first one reads very well. I think
Yeah.
it reads general, and that almost looks like this is an example of what we're talking about.
Yes, that's exactly how it reads, that using the Battery as an example, but otherwise.
So if the first one is meant to be specific to the Battery, I think we need to reinforce it more. But are we proposing to keep it separate? I'll work on the language about reinforcing it, but are we proposing to keep one point specific to the Battery and the other general to other parks in CD1?
You're gonna turn it into 2 requests?
Well,
Already,
Exactly.
yeah.
What?
Well,
It-
one would just say, pay special attention to. The
I
other
mean,
one needs a little bit more.
I don't know, I'm sort of going with Richard here, I don't know that every single one of our parks needs more staffing, needs more resources, needs more plans, and needs more care, every single one of them, like you look at Imagination Playground, I mean, that's a park.
It's not-
What imagination are you having there? I mean, it only works with
Your imagination for real.
building things, and they don't even have a staff person to bring them out. I mean, it's an embarrassment. So I would say, yes, we absolutely need the support at the Battery, but we frankly need the support everywhere, as we heard from City Hall Park. I mean,
So can we just take a quick poll of the committee, whether we keep it as 2 items or consolidate it into 1?
Can I make
I
a
don't-
suggestion?
Sure.
Because they go by line items. I hear what Rose is saying. I would leave because they have it for what we know what the Battery wants. Why don't we just list some of the other parks so they can come back to us, because the city's really, they need to be able to address the park. So example, Imagination Playground, City Hall Park. Like, name the parks where we think we need the help.
Or
But isn't
maybe
that
we
all?
could just add the word all parks.
yeah, we are going to miss some. We are, absolutely. I mean, I think, may I suggest that we actually put it as our very top priority item and not list all the parks? But
CB1 period,
We're
all
not prepared
parks.
to make that decision now because we may still have some DPR items here.
okay.
Leave it like that with a question until.
But I guess what we need to decide is if we're keeping them as two issues or two items, or if we're consolidating into one. And I don't know how.
Consolidate.
Me too, just put a real heavy emphasis on need and all.
It's not like a big
All
deal.
I'm saying is in DOT, if you have one for everything, they decline it. If you list them
Uh-huh.
individually, they respond individually.
But
We have both of these as DPR. I'm not saying that to contradict what you're saying, I just want to make sure we have the right agency.
If what Tammy's saying is correct, then the second one is meaningless, so why have it? The first one is
Because
not.
we should expand the second one to include parks where we think that we need PEPs. And yes, they're both DPR because they're park enforcement.
Got it.
I didn't follow that, but. Sorry.
The request is the same thing. It's just that in the first one, you're asking specifically for the Battery Conservancy. And in the second one, you're doing it just generally for parks.
I think what I heard from the comment was if we keep them separate, we're more inclined to get action on the battery.
You can request the same thing to different agencies.
No, but it is the right agency, the parks, and they're the ones that maintain and staff the parks.
Andrew understood what I said exactly.
So we don't have consensus on this.
Basis to say the battery part is more important than any other. I have no basis to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm,
I
So-
agree.
I mean, if.
Paul, as chair, what do you want to do?
I would just flip these two and make the second one our top priority and then mention Battery Conservancy in a follow-up request. That way we cover all the parks.
Okay, so what you're saying is keep both of them, but when we rank them, we're ranking the one that's broader in scope higher than we are the battery.
That's what I am suggesting.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, just one. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what our chair has proposed. I'm okay with it.
Do we still want to list of all the ones separate or no?
I was going to, make a reference to all, I don't know if I say recreational parks or, I don't know, something that says all parks throughout CD1.
So then.
But to Tammy's point, maybe that doesn't give enough guidance to them.
Can you come up with a list of literally every single park and forget?
And then look at them and see which ones are.
That's gonna be a hard task between now and Thursday, guys.
Yeah.
We just.
You guys want me to stick a list in there, fine. but
Yeah.
I'm not-
We can get a list, but for all of us to reconvene and try and prioritize what could be
No,
a
not
list of.
prioritize, but like actually put in a list of every single park and park
Put it in
that we have.
What is it, you think that's gonna?
I don't know,
That will
Tammy,
accomplish.
Tammy's saying that if it doesn't have a location attached to it,
But
It
a list
doesn't.
of everything is not a location either,
Mm-hmm.
really.
yeah, I agree.
So-
Maybe it's-
I'd like to move on and I'd like to propose we go with Paul's recommendation.
Okay, but then I would like to also request that we insert a similar call out for something like Imagination Playground, which is essentially
Put that out there.
without.
The ones we know that are really
So
disrepair.
which ones are they?
Imagination Playground, definitely for sure.
Okay.
The whole point was to have these giant building blocks, but they don't have a staff person to bring them in and out, so they're all locked up in a metal can.
And is there another?
What I would suggest, if you guys want, pick a couple parts that you want, that you have like prioritized for this particular instance and just duplicate this as many times for how many parts you want and just put the location, put more.
But then we have to rank
And
those.
do them all. Yeah, then-
That's why I said you have to prioritize those.
Yeah, we're gonna be adding 7 line items and we're gonna have to rank all those 7
Yeah.
line items.
Gonna be adding 20.
Do we have to rank them? Can't we just pick numbers
No,
out
you
of?
gotta rank them.
Yeah.
I think,
We
imaginary,
have to rank.
the
each
Lord,
line
Yes,
item
but
by
I mean, do
agency.
we have to convene and agree which one is
Yeah.
first, which one is
We
second?
do.
Or If
Yes.
we all feel that they're equally in need, can we just pick numbers out of a hat?
no.
No, I think we have
I
to
would say
vote on it.
imaginary,
To me, that
the
doesn't.
Lord,
that's the
and
government's
City
steps,
Hall Park.
Sorry, which ones?
Imaginary, the Lori, and City Hall Park. Those are the three biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would put them.
And Harvey Driscoll Walk. We can include that because
Really?
that would get us the east side.
Is
Yeah,
that, is that
okay.
actually a park?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is?
Yes, right on the other
Yeah.
side of you.
No, I know, but I didn't know it was considered a park. I thought it was.
I'm just gonna put the 40.
Okay.
The parks.
So are these examples or are these, what are these?
No, we're.
I think I'm gonna word it, I'm gonna say, security within parks across CD1 with particular focus on
Blah, 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 blah.
these four.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Don't know if they're missing other parks, but
We
We are.
do know
No.
we are. We do we are, but if
But
we
we're
get
looking at
these
the
four
big
started,
ones, those are the big
that's
names.
progress, right? We know we're not gonna get all, if we can get some of these four, it's better than what we have today.
I don't know
Yeah.
many of them. There's no.
Okay,
Yours.
But you got money.
all right.
I got nothing.
I got. What many is
Repair playscape with battery. Guys, can we still got 4 or 5 to go and then we gotta start ranking. So let's try and push through this. Replace the playscape at Battery Conservancy, including turf, metal columns on stage and remove graffiti.
So lots of the conservancy.
Wasn't that done?
No. I was in the playscape the other day and the whole stage area is still closed off.
It says can accommodate and remove
Yes.
requests.
So maybe they're just behind on construction,
Yeah.
but they have.
So Tammy, is Tammy still on?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am,
no, no,
I'm
no.
sorry. I'm not
Do you
on
have any
camera because I have to
guidance?
stand. Come on.
Do you have any
What?
guidance on items? So we have an example of an item where the response is agency supports and can accommodate, remove request. Should we take that line item out? Even though
Not
it hasn't
until
been
it's done. Nope.
Okay, got it.
What
So
we
we're
learned
keeping this
is there's a lot, it's great to say I really support you, but until the money's in and paid and done, it should always stay.
in. Okay, so we're agreeing to leave that?
Okay.
We can figure out how to rank it, but we're agreeing to leave it?
Sure.
I'm asking, I'm not.
I agree, maybe ranking it lower, knowing that it's.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ranking is
Yeah.
gonna be
But keep it
challenge
off.
here.
Right.
Okay.
The next one is rat mitigation for Jerry Driscoll Walk in the South Street Seaport. Now, for this, we have DOHMH.
That's
I
right.
don't know why just one park, rat mitigation and everything.
Yeah, they were just saying at City Hall Park, you have that same. issue.
Because, Richard, the reason is it is so bad that they actually had to rope off that area and it needs massive repairs. And since it's unrepaired, the rats have become the primary tenant. I'll put it that way.
I mean, that's the description of that, which sounds really awful and should be done, but I would venture there's plenty of problems. Washington Market Park has just remodeled and there's still rats in there.
And it's gonna get worse if they ever start construction on 250. 250.
Right.
They ever get back to that.
I mean,
I mean,
Moving around.
anything?
So let's stay on this, guys. What do
Yes.
we want to do with this?
I sort of
This is
agree
red
with
flag-
Rich.
this was flagged for a reason that at the time, it must have just been the most severe situation we had
At the time.
at the time.
as is.
But I
Well,
also.
that's what we're
And then
discussing.
why don't they support this?
Responds.
Why don't they support this? The
We
agency?
don't know, it says contact.
The agency does not support and cannot accommodate remove request. So
Okay.
are you saying let me get that?
Department of Health and Mental.
Or reimbursements.
The reason why they didn't support it is because they don't want to do the rent mitigation. They think that belongs back at parks.
Right.
So
That makes
should
sense.
should we resubmit to DPR or should we keep it?
I think
Yes,
DPR.
I think that's a great solution.
You want resubmitted?
We're gonna change
To
agency to
DPR rather than Department of Health.
Okay. Two more and then we go to the ranking. So this is labeled for EDC. Fund a feasibility study on repurposing the Coast Guard building site for public. So I think I put this forward. I just don't think this is going anywhere.
They talked about it last night. or
Yeah.
Monday night, yeah.
What did they say?
They're working on it. It's actually in progress. They have an MOU that's been sent. They haven't had it signed yet, but they have something in place that they're trying to work on.
So are we proposing them to keep this or?
It's the linchpin for getting resiliency done. I don't know why we, take it
Got
out.
it. No, I recall when putting this forward, I was thinking of it as a possible school site or rec center or something like that, not as part of resiliency, but that's fine. We can, let's keep, so we're keeping it and it's EDC, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then our last item, Brooklyn Bridge Arches.
Yay.
So we actually paid for our own economic and social analysis, but I think we would request adjusting this to still stay with EDC, still be an expense request, but funding support from, if there is a project that's going on at 100 Gold, that some funding would go towards Gotham Park to actually help take care of that space on an operations and maintenance perspective.
This says that
What is 100?
the areas are not.
Streets of community benefit. Most public spaces I now understand are taken care of by, do you want the whole explanation?
Well, this says it's not under EDC jurisdiction. I believe maybe it was regarding last year's request.
Well, no, we basically, this was probably added like 3 years ago, and we just did it ourselves.
Okay, so what are you proposing to replace this with?
Operational and maintenance support funding related to 100 Gold, if 100 Gold goes
I
forward.
really can't.
Why wouldn't you just ask for general operational and maintenance support or
That's
regardless of?
basically what it is.
Yeah, I don't think we should cite 100 Gold Street.
Ask for support for operational maintenance.
We
But
could
that
do
sounds
that as well, but then where does that come from?
To me, that sounds like. coming
It's
from-
not a Parks Department project, it's DOT.
Well, The problem is the space we're asking for is, as Rosa says, DOT based. So it's not
Yeah.
parks unless it's, it's not parks.
And DOT doesn't,
So we know it's not parks. They're
Fine.
saying in this response that it's not EDC.
EDC would have done a social and economic analysis, but in the end, they never did. And we went forward.
I'm not debating, I'm just reading what's on the paper.
Right, yes.
Different spaces are not EDC jurisdiction. So would EDC do a study on something that's not in their jurisdiction?
If it was an economic development thing, yes. For instance, we were in the New York panel report, which was an EDC analysis, and we were initiative number 5.
So just someone which agency are we going to list here? Are we going to, so Rosa will give us language to put here. Which I think we're saying.
It can't tag 100 Gold, but it should tag if Gotham Park was in an EDC publication as a priority, then we can tag it back to EDC and tell them, you're wrong. And move it in EDC.
So,
Okay.
what exactly are we asking for?
funding for operational and maintenance support in
Gotham
Brooklyn
Park
Bridge.
slash Brooklyn Bridge Arches
And
slash.
how is that different from support for all the other parts?
Well, we're not, so we actually don't get, like, we don't get PEP officers. We don't get any funding support. We have to pay for our own plants. We do all of the maintenance of the site and clean up ourselves. It's all private.
So that request, those requests, Richards, go to Parks Department. This is
Yes.
going to EDC, so it's coming from a different pot.
And DOT does not do those things.
So,
Okay.
Richard, this is one of those situations where it looks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, it might even walk similar to a duck, but it is not a duck. It is
But
not a
it's not.
park. It's DOT.
Yes.
No, but it's not DOT, it's
It is.
EDC. So
Well, but DOT won't do any of those things, and
But
that's why.
DOT
Wow.
manages the space.
No, we do. DOT doesn't
Well-
manage.
Sorry, didn't we land on, we're submitting this to EDC?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's move on. Okay, so now let's go back to ranking.
Well, I have one other one to add.
Let's finish the ranking and then close tab. So for EDC capital, just going by agency now, for EDC capital,
it's only.
I believe there's two. There's the first one, which is rebuild the new market building. And then there is, we changed it from DPR to EDC.
Estuarium.
Contribute to the estuarium. Those are our two capital items for EDC.
I think it's one and two, the way it stands.
So
Yeah.
new market one.
Yeah,
Yeah, 1 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
even though I
we-
love estuary.
We desperately
Sorry,
need help on the east. I agree. We need desperate help on the east side. So, yeah.
Okay, so then expense items for EDC. It looks like we have two. One is the Coast Guard building. The last two, Coast Guard and Rose's operational and maintenance.
We can't call it Rose's operational.
Okay, sorry, the line item that Rose is gonna give us language for.
I think that one should go first.
Agreed.
Which one?
Rosa.
The,
The last
the
one,
arches or whatever we're calling
arches,
them
yeah.
these days.
Brooklyn Bridge Arches.
So it seems
Really?
like there's consensus to put Arches one, Coast Guard building two.
Correct.
Okay, so that takes care of EDC. I want to say parks for last. So DOT capital. DOT capital, it looks like we only have one item.
Put that first.
So that's 1, 2, 3.
So we'll put that, and then DOT expense,
Wait, sorry, what's the DOT capital one?
DOT
Bowling
capital
Green
is
Park.
Bowling Green Park.
Okay.
the last one on page 3. And then, so I don't see any other capital items for DOT. For expense, I don't see any,
So it's just that.
just that for DOT. Okay, now we go to parks, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 capital items for parks. They start on the second item on page 1, 2 items on page 2.
No, the second item on page
Page 1
one,
is
we
DP.
moved to expense.
Oh, sorry, correct, sorry.
Actually, did we? Yeah.
Yes, we did. Sorry, good catch. Thank you. I wouldn't have noticed that, my own handwriting. So DPR parks capital items start at the top of page 2. And
No,
I thought it was
no,
page
no,
1.
page 3. Top of page 3 is the first one. Page 2 we took off, both of them.
that's right. You. Even better. Okay, let me say this one more time. Just testing everyone. You're all paying attention.
Passing, are we passing?
You're passing with flying colors. All right, capital for DPR starts at the top of page 3. There's just one item on page 3. And then there are 4 items on page 4. So we're dealing with a total of 5 items. So one is City Hall Park, the pathway, the lights, wayfinder, signage, and public restroom.
Number 1, please.
Second,
Should I read off all 5 and then?
Yeah.
Or, okay,
Yeah.
so, so the first one,
There's actually 4.
one,
No, yes, 4. Because one, you also struck off the second one on
oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. All right, so the items are,
Big X.
City Hall Park, pathway, gas lights, wayfinding, wayfinder, signage, and public restroom, that's 1. The second is renovate pathway at Bowling Green Park with pools with water. The next one is provide required funding to repair all non-functioning water features at Delury Square, Collect Pond, and Albert Capsuto Park. And then the last one is contributing to the funding to the expansion of Duane Park as proposed to restore it to its historic footprint. We do just need to confirm that that aligns with our resolution. So those 4 things. Water collection at Bowling Green, repairing water functions at 3 parks, or repair City Hall Park.
Mine, if I may, I think first one is City Hall Park, the repairs.
Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first one is City Hall Park.
I would recommend second one be fix the pooling of water. So
Yeah,
actually.
the Albert Capsuto one.
Anything else? That's a health hazard, given the mosquito-borne things that are out there. That really should be done. I think the third one should be.
Sorry, does everyone agree that that's the second one, the collecting of water at
Yes.
Bowling Green?
No. I would propose Duane Park actually go second. And then Bowling Green the pooling go third, and then the water features go last.
I
Okay.
only disagree. with the second order 2 and 3.
Second and.
The first, the pooling of water, first of all, is doable.
Yeah.
It's cheap, it should be relatively inexpensive, and it is a health hazard.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I really think it should be.
So we have 2 schools of thought. Tammy, you were gonna weigh in?
I was going to weigh in and say I actually agree with Richard because Duane Park is beautiful as it is right now. We do want to expand it, but we have problems in the other park that are health issues.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
affect the ability to be able to host functions there and other things that you can do far more fruitfully
Yeah.
over by Duane Park.
I
Yep.
agree with that point
I
of
think I
view.
do as well.
I agree. Okay, fine. Change
All right,
my mind.
so
What is that number?
3, I would suggest is Duane Park.
All right, hold on, let me catch up to everyone. So
One is.
one
City
is
Park.
City Hall, 2 is the collection of water at Bowling Green. 3, we said the water functions at these various parks.
No, 3, we said Duane Park.
No, that was 2.
I'm raising my hand at making 3 Duane Park.
Okay,
That's,
I thought based on
The
Tammy's
expansion.
comment.
but the water features they're nice to have. The other one, Duane Park is near funding. And if we can get a final agreement, we could actually move forward with a project that's really close to implementation. The water features are nice to have, and I'd love to get them done, but they don't prevent the parks from being used in any way. I don't think they're a health hazard in any way because there's no water.
Okay,
Agreed.
so just to recap then, for the capital items under parks,
Can
Yeah,
I
four-
respectfully disagree? I'm sorry. I'm respectfully disagreeing because I want to repair other parks that don't have the money. Those parks don't have money. They don't have a friends group. They don't have individual funding that's taking care of them. They're only reliant on the city.
Yeah, I think Dwayne should be a little lower on the list.
I would add another point, on a hot summer day, the water, fountain is a real relief.
Well, it's not a drinking fountain.
No, I know,
But they're making it some of the.
but people sit around it, because it's cool, it cools the air, and it's a real.
So I agree with Tammy as well. So I think that gives us consensus. So,
Okay.
so the first capital, the number one ranking for capital under DPR is City Hall Park. Number 2 is Bowling Green. Number 3 is the water functions at various parks, and number 4 is Duane Park. Okay, so I think we've addressed all the capital items. But I think what we need to do now is rank the expense items, which I'm working without my glasses, but they all seem to be DP. We have one EDC, right? Expense.
Right.
Actually, we think.
No.
Two. Right. We've already ranked those.
Yes.
Yes, correct. Okay, so let me just read out the expense items we have for parks. Reduced number of PAP specific to the battery. That's the top of page 5.
Increase in staff.
Right, yeah. I'm reading the
No, I
opening
got it,
sentence.
I got it.
So the items are the 2 points on page 5, so it has to do with enforcement or security. 1 specific to battery, the second more general to parks across CD1, specifically calling out Imagination, Delury, City Hall, and someone said Harvey Driscoll. Is it Harvey Driscoll or Jerry Driscoll?
That was Jerry.
Yeah. All right. So we have those 2 expense items. Continuing for parks, prepare the playscape at Battery Conservancy, rat mitigation at Jerry Driscoll. And I believe that's it.
No, there was also the study of a potential expansion opportunity for
Oh, that's on
Vince
page 1?
Square,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry. Yep, we changed that from capital to expense. So we have the bottom item on page 1. And then we have 2 items on page 5. 2 items on page 6. Okay, so Finn Square on page 1. Stronger enforcement, so page 5, we have 2, stronger enforcement in the battery, stronger enforcement in other parks,
I would.
and then repair of the battery conservancy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty agnostic on most of these, except that I would suggest that Pin Square, the study for enlargement is not as important as some of these other things. I would suggest that be the lowest.
And Finn Square, they're supporting anyway.
Say again?
Finn Square, they said agency supports and can accommodate, remove requests.
But not this, this is different.
But he's
Paul.
agreeing,
The enlarged,
he's agreeing it should be a lower priority.
Okay.
yes.
I might propose putting battery conservancy back in functioning status. Playscape. Someone said the stage is closed.
Yes, that was me.
They,
I would prefer.
they are in the
number one
midst
would-
of repairs, but it would be great to have it up. Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Rosa?
I mean, for me, all the parks need support. I mean, desperately. And so I would put the general one as the number 1. request.
Again, keep in mind, the general one does get specific with 4 parks. So
Understood.
it probably won't be read as general, it's gonna be read as those 4 parks.
Fairly general.
Yeah, I got it. So the broader one, number 1, you're saying battery 2.
Yes.
Does anyone disagree with that?
The wording on the battery one is very confusing. I would rather than, for example, you could say
I agree.
specifically.
I raised that earlier, so I will adjust.
Specifically for this.
I don't object to that.
Does anyone disagree with putting park security number 1 and 2, 1 the broader, 2 the battery?
Do not disagree.
Okay, I don't hear any disagreement. So that leaves 2 other items. It leaves repairing the playscape at the battery and rat mitigation at Jerry Driscoll Walk.
I think you've got something that's in disrepair. It looks terrible and it undermines confidence in the city. I say repair it.
The reason why I believe they're not repairing it is because that's part of the Seaport Resiliency Project. Right?
Tammy, is that,
Meaning they can't
Yeah,
repair it yet, or?
do you
They're
do you
planning
have
to
knowledge of
repair
that,
it with
Tammy?
the Seaport, so they're not gonna repair it and then like totally demolish it.
If that's true, then it shouldn't be on
That's
here.
not true. I mean, they can repair. They can make repairs. That project isn't gonna kick off for 10 to 15 years.
No, we're not talking about Five Seaport, we're talking about Seaport coastal resiliency, the Band-Aid, not the final solution. Sorry, that's how I separate them, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if doing work there is predicated on resiliency work, I would take it off the list.
Nothing is
This says
predicated
the
on resiliency
sports
because
and can
resiliency
accommodate.
isn't paid.
Sounds like they're already doing it.
Tammy, go ahead. Tammy did say they were
doing it.
in
Yeah.
the process, but it hasn't been completed, and her suggestion
Correct.
was keep it up until we see a finished product.
That's
Call the
exactly.
question.
Okay.
So all we're talking about is ranking. Is that number 3 or is rat mitigation 3? Honestly, I'm not sure it's a huge
I
difference.
don't think so.
Don't think it makes a difference
Flip
either.
a
All right,
coin.
I don't think it matters.
I'm gonna go with Conservancy 3, rats 4.
I agree.
That's the score?
That's
So we're done.
Well, I think we have potential new item that Mark wanted to propose.
The Brooklyn Bridge Beach is always
Right
there.
there.
We could
Oh.
just add that.
So what are we adding?
So where does it go?
So, No, that
Hold on.
goes to ED. So we sent a
Yeah.
letter to EDC requesting because there was money spent by city council and the borough president to design and renovate in 2018, 2019 a Brooklyn Bridge Beach with Sandy in mind and resiliency. We've never seen any of that, so we did ask if we would have to foil it. Mark is correct, that should be on there to see the plans and designs and have a publicly accessible with maritime use Brooklyn Bridge Beach.
But
Could
I'm
someone
in favor.
just send me an email with the proposed wording and I'll add it?
I could do it.
But-
I mean,
Yeah.
the wording that's always in the resolution is unfettered access to Brooklyn Bridge Beach.
So
Is that a capital? What kind of project is
it's
it?
capital, the money was capital, and my recollection from a long ago environmental protection committee meeting was that EDC confirmed that as part of Seaport coastal resiliency, so the closer Band-Aid, not permanent Five Seaport resiliency, that the get down was happening, that it was
Nope.
part of that scope of work.
Nope, that isn't what ended up happening at the end. And they had never seen, we asked EDC if they had seen and worked on any of the plans for Brooklyn Bridge Beach that were touted in 2019. And the answer was no.
Well, I mean, we could be able to resolve this pretty quickly because we can just look online at their drawings, right?
The story is just delaying.
Or
There's
call
no
the
reason- there's
Hotel
no-
Brewer.
We can put it, and if they come back with an answer that it's part of the Band-Aid Seaport, that's what they'll respond.
Okay.
But I just need someone to send me language, please.
Where are we prioritizing?
So who's it going
At the
to?
end,
I don't know.
What agency would that go to? I think I wrote
EDC.
EDC.
EDC, they manage that.
Yep.
Okay, so how are we ranking it? We have two EDC capital items. One is the New Market Building,
What's one?
and the other is the 26 Estuarium. Where would we rank this among those
Above.
three? We had,
Above the estuarium because the estuarium has some funding already.
so that would be number 2 then. One
Yeah.
was the
Yep.
New Market
New
Building.
Market.
Yep.
26, so we'll put that as 2.
I have 2 new subjects, new line items, yes, for this. If we're finished with the,
I think so, Mark.
Okay,
you're
yeah,
sending
okay.
some-
Yeah, I'm typing up.
number 1 is for DOT, and it is to include bathrooms, public restrooms as part of Gotham Park. And that's capital request. Then the other would be that propose that if you're interested in doing a pool in, close to the Brooklyn Bridge get down, or what I call stage 3 land, then we would love to do an above ground swimming pool, and we'd love to get the support on record to try to get that to happen, because we're not gonna make it easy.
I like
To
that
get-
idea.
Rosa, does
I
that
mean-
force us to choose between plus pool and the above ground because they're not going to do both?
No, they're totally separate. No, they're totally separate. It doesn't. I don't see it that way at all. It would be an above ground pool that is in our district, which, by the way, is the only Manhattan district that does not have a public swimming pool. And it would be directly across from Alfred E. Smith houses, where we have thousands of children between Southbridge and Alfred E. Smith that are living so close to the water and don't have a place to learn to swim. So,
Question, do we have a capital item for Brooklyn Bridge already?
capital request?
Or is it expense?
It's an expense. It's an expense request for general operating and maintenance support via EDC, and the name's constantly changing, so I don't even know.
But you said an expense or capital?
Wait,
It's an
just
expense, yeah.
send me language on that.
In
I
the
don't-
$56 million capital.
So that's what we have so far.
Is there any, could that be used for the
No,
restroom?
every single,
Restroom.
for the restroom specifically.
And why not, if not? That's a lot of money. I
That-
would think that would be.
That is, and that's gonna go towards the larger project, which I'm told we're not gonna get a shovel in the ground. So I would like this to be a faster, separate, immediate request.
So
We're
sorry,
ready to start on
I
it now.
just want to make sure, so you're proposing an above-ground pool,
Yeah.
which is capital,
Yes,
and that goes to whom?
that goes to DOT.
Not an above, I think it's an in-ground pool.
No, we want above ground to basically,
Above ground.
we want an above ground pool, and the idea is that number 1, it's less expensive. Number 2, it hides the 10-foot tall concrete wall that is part of BMCR.
Right, track.
What material would be used for it? I mean, it can't be a normal
I
backyard. which are-
No, I don't know. That would be up to DOT.
Yeah, big inflatable.
But basically, we don't want NYCHA to be looking across at a concrete wall. We'd like there to be a swimming pool. This is a space that could accommodate it.
In Brooklyn
Um,
Bridge Park, on the other side of the river, they have an above-ground swimming pool over there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they do. It's a
Mhm.
pop-up pool, but it's
Is
permanent.
it a temporary structure, you know?
I don't know if it's fiberglass or what it is, but it's not an in-ground pool.
See if this is.
Is that one?
That's
Yeah.
Wendy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not well, but I'm listening.
I mean, I don't know the
Yeah,
footprint
well,
of the space.
listen.
Can it be large enough to really be functional?
Yes,
Yes,
Very
yeah.
happy to
I'm
walk
with
about
Rosa.
anytime.
It's unacceptable that CB1 still doesn't have a pool, a public pool. Everybody else does, but we don't. This seems like a no-brainer. Put it on the list. They can deny it. Plus, we're
Everyone,
not in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they took it away from us, they moved it up.
Did you send me an email back?
To do it for
Not getting reception now.
Oh, really?
all right, so we
Did it come
Is it
through?
something? is it
So if you can
something-
send me language,
Did it come through to you?
DOT about bathrooms and
Yeah.
DOT
The
about
bathroom
a
and the
ground
pool.
pool. So they're
Brooklyn
both
Bridge?
capital,
Yes.
so now we need to.
Oh, the rest of the language didn't come through?
And what are they, DOT?
Yes.
Consider ranking.
Renovation and repairs.
For DOT, I think we previously only had one
Yeah,
capital item.
that's the item in.
Yes,
And
Bowling
that capital
Green,
item was Bowling Green.
So we're in that.
Large.
the traffic around the bowl.
That has to be first. Okay, so then these items would be, which would go first? Bathrooms two?
Bathrooms.
Bathrooms
Please, we desperately
one,
need bathrooms.
one.
So,
At the moment, I'd say that's.
all right,
Yeah, that's,
so for capital for DOT, we've got Bowling Green, safety, number one, bathrooms at Brooklyn Bridge, number two, above ground pool, Brooklyn Bridge, number three, and I need language on those two.
okay.
And I need language on the beach, and I need language on the.
I sent, I
operational amenities.
emailed you to be.
All right,
Just in the.
is there any other proposed items, or are we done with this? I think we're done with this.
Got there yet?
Motion to
Okay.
adjourn.
Seconded.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And, I'll be presenting on behalf of the executive committee on Thursday.